being brought to you by Miss Black Oklahoma, which will be June the 10th through June 17th. Many of you have called me and you want to know who all's participating in Miss Black Oklahoma, which is an educational and motivational pageant. It's not a pageant as you have known it. It's an educational and motivational pageant. I will tell you there will be the following cities and counties and universities will be represented. Okay, I'll take you down the list. Ardmore, Britain, Cameron University, Choctaw, Cleveland County, Clinton, Comanche County, Crutcher, Dale City, Enid, Forest Park, Garfield County, Dorset, Langston University, Midwest City, Moore, Muskogee County, Oklahoma City Community College, Miss Black, Oklahoma City University, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma State University, Okmulgee, Shawnee, Spencer, Tulsa County, Rose State College, University of Central Oklahoma, Village, Nichols Hill, Putnam City, Saskatchewan, Wewoka, and Gilcrease. Now, many of you have asked me about it. I've told you, and the judges are all ready. We will have judges. Our judges will come from the following places: Wichita, Kansas, New York City, Spencer, Oklahoma, Austin, Texas, Muskogee, Tulsa, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Oklahoma City, Guthrie, Pittsburgh, Texas. Now, what a combination. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and that part of the show was brought to you by Miss Black, Oklahoma. And we would like for you to tell your friends. It'll be June 10th to the 17th, and the tickets have already gone on sale. The theme for this year's contestants, the theme is Born to Succeed. Well, let me tell you about the Oklahoma Baptist Convention Prison Ministry, first annual statewide prison ministry workshop, which will be April the 29th at the New Zion Baptist Church, located at 2801 North Kelly Avenue. They will register from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. The workshop will be from 9 to 1 p.m. The registration, including the luncheon, and that's going to be a delicious luncheon, will be at 10 o'clock. Contact Donna K. Thompson, Post Office Box 36188, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 73136, or you may call her at 209-6750. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today we are thinking about, and we are talking about Langston University. I'm expecting the president of Langston University to call me at exactly 9:15. When we think about Langston University, we think about Dr. Holloway. Dr. Holloway resigned this year, retired, and Thelma Parks wrote these words: "Our nation has been blessed because of your dedication, commitment, and service to people in making this world a better place in which to live, to work, and to serve mankind." Thelma Parks says that a man makes a living by what he does, or life, or what he gives. Dr. Holloway, you are appreciated by Langston University, alumni, citizens of this state and nation, and global friends for the many things you've done for our great university. Your contributions have separated you from the ordinary rank of university presidents to one of unparalleled stature. The Heavenly Father is not finished with you. The harvest is plentiful, but the work of a few. Today one needs to look at the physical plan of Langston University, assess the academic growth, along with the development of programs and activities, and compare them to the time when you first became president. You have done an outstanding job, President. Thelma R. Parks, a member of the Oklahoma City Board of Education and a graduate of Langston University. Yes, today our eyes are toward Langston University, and people were wondering what would happen to Langston University after Dr. Holloway had retired. You've asked me so many questions. I have invited the president of Langston University to be here today with me. Okay, because I wanted to ask her some questions, and you wanted to ask her some. Madam President.
Good morning, Miss Luper. I'm here.
Oh, well, good. You're here.
Yes.
And I've been talking about you.
Wonderful.
And I've told everybody all over the United States that you will be with me today.
Thank you.
I am real proud of Langston University, and I'm one of the graduates of Langston University. And when Dr. Holloway resigned, I wrote him a letter, and I said, Dr. Holloway, years of hard work, study, faith, devotion, and common courtesy she made with knowledge, determination, and vision have brought us to this moment in history. I told him that he had changed Langston University from a local, self-centered university and made it into an international respected university.
That's right.
His slogan was Langston to the world, penetrated not only into our souls, but deep into our hearts. And then we all wondered what would happen to Langston University after Dr. Holloway. Welcome to the Clara Luper radio show and to the thousands of people that are listening to you today. How are you?
I am doing well, Mrs. Luper, and I share in your comments regarding Langston University's history, and I am looking forward to taking it on to the road to excellence.
Okay, now let's talk about you. The state wants to know about you. Where are you from?
I was originally born in a small town in South Carolina named Kingstree. For most people that are not familiar with that area, they have probably heard of Charleston. My hometown is about 60 miles from Charleston. They have also heard of Sumter because there's an Air Force base there. My hometown is about 38 miles from Sumter, near the coastal area.
Where did you finish high school?
I finished high school in a segregated school that was named Tomlinson High School, also located in Kingstree.
Okay, now you know I always brag because I know I'm smart. I finished in the top 5 of my class from Grayson High School, but there were only 5 in my class. About how many were in your class when you finished?
As I recall, there were 150 plus, and I graduated a year ahead of my class into the class ahead of me.
Oh, you graduated a year
Yes,
ahead of your class?
Graduated from high school at the age of 15 and started college at the age of 16.
Okay, where did you go to college?
I went to Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, what did you major in?
I majored in psychology.
In psychology?
Yes.
Oh, great. And then what?
After I completed my undergraduate degree there, believe it or not, I tell people the story that I didn't realize that with the baccalaureate degree in psychology, I couldn't hang out my shingle and practice my craft. So then I went back to school, but in order to get there, I had to take a job. So I also indicate to people that I kind of got into education, one might refer to it as through the back door, because my original plans when I went to college was to be a clinical psychologist. My parents had 3 children. All of us were in college at one time. They could not afford for us to go to the master's degree, so they promised us the first degree. Anything after that, they said, you're on your own. So being on my own to get my further education, I took a job in the public school system in Tuskegee, Alabama, Macon County Public School System. I was fortunate enough to meet a superintendent who believed in young people, and he hired me as an educational planner in the Macon County School System. His name was Ulysses Bias.
I don't understand what an educational planner is.
That's the person who assumes the responsibility for determining the direction in which education, common education, should move in that particular location.
Okay.
As an example, I wrote programs to allow students that were dropouts to return to school. I wrote programs that allowed children that had babies to come back to school and bring their babies with them. It was the first such program in the Macon County Public School System, and it was housed at the high school there. that is Tuskegee High School.
What did you do with all those crying babies?
We had a special facility built for those crying babies that the teenage mothers took those babies. There was a special bus we had for them, picked those mothers up with those babies. The mothers came to school, took the babies to the childhood center, which was on the campus of the high school, walked from that center into class, complete their education. I've had a long, long history of dealing with students and educational process and trying to ensure that we take them where they are and move them where they should be.
Okay, after you left that high school, where did you go?
When I left high school there, I was fortunate enough again to get a Ford Foundation Fellowship to continue my higher education at San Jose State University. It was a fully paid scholarship, so I, at that time, referred to the Ford Foundation and Mr. Ford as Father Ford.
Okay, I didn't understand the university.
San Jose State University and San Jose, California.
Okay.
My commitment there was to go to school and return to the Macon County school system that was a part of the fellowship agreement. So I did that. I came back to the Macon County school system in Tuskegee. And from there, I pursued my doctorate at Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama.
Okay, and you received your PhD?
Yes.
Did you have to write a thesis?
Oh, I had to write a dissertation, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And what did you write about?
I wrote about children that misbehaved in the public schools. I took the 8th grade, and I developed a relaxation training model. The idea was to hopefully provide for them some techniques that when they face anxiety-provoking stimuli, that they would be able to employ self-control mechanisms, that they would not act out, fight, and get into trouble, and create discipline problems for the school.
You should turn that into a book, because that's certainly needed in our schools today.
Well, it certainly is. I just did not do that, but I found that it was very effective for 8th grade boys, more so than girls, and it tended to minimize their violence potential, because what it does, as I said, it gives them a technique to relax, so that when they are facing anxiety, they would have the opportunity to think through what was occurring and then to impose self-control so that they would not immediately react to things that would yield a problematic situation for them and others.
Okay, what happened next?
When I completed my doctoral program, my major professor was instrumental during that time to help me attend some professional conferences. And I attended a professional conference in Atlanta, Georgia. I met a Dr. Lowe at Virginia State University who offered me a position when I graduated. And when I graduated, I called him up. They interviewed me by phone and flew me to Virginia State. And I began my professional career there in higher education.
Oh, they just interviewed you by telephone and hired you?
That's correct.
Okay, what happened next?
Once I completed my 2 years at Virginia State, during that period I was an assistant professor for higher education. I worked with the dean of the school. Her name was Martha Dawson. She was a graduate of Virginia State. I also directed the laboratory school. I directed the research and minority program for women in sciences and research. Dr. Dawson was so impressed with my work ethics and experiences that she hired me to do some continuous work in her office, and when she left, she went to Hampton University. She said to the president there that I know a young woman. I'd like to come in and serve as my assistant vice president for academic affairs. So I left Virginia State, interviewed with Dr. William R. Harvey, and was hired at Hampton University in 1980. And at that point, I spent 25 years at that institution as a part of a very progressive team that built that institution to the institution that it is today.
I'm not familiar with what it is today. What is it today?
Hampton University is among the top 3 HBCUs in the country. And I use that benchmark thinking of a couple of things. One being the financial stability of the institution with endowments. Second being the quality of programs that it has. Third being the continuity of the leadership team that it has had. So that kind of accolades in my judgment, and I think it's an objective analysis, as would be shared by others. It is one of the top HBCUs in the country.
Okay. Then you developed a program there at Hampton.
Oh, I helped to develop a number of programs at Hampton.
For example?
As an example, I was the provost when we started the first PhD program in nursing of an HBCU in the country.
Okay, when you say provost, what are you saying?
I was at that time the second ranking officer at the institution.
Okay.
And had the responsibilities primarily as a chief academic officer.
Okay.
So again, the first PhD program in nursing. We had a accredited program in aviation. We had at that point the first pharmacy program at the school. We had the first BPT program at the institution, and a PhD in physics. All of those programs were programs that I was instrumental in helping to develop.
All right, now you developed those programs and you stayed at Hampton, which is a private institution, isn't it?
That is correct.
For 25 years.
That is correct.
When did you have time to fall in love and get married?
I don't even remember when I had time to fall in love and get married, but all of it happened before Hampton. So when was the time? Gee, I couldn't tell you. And I say that thinking about, I don't know if I ever had the time.
Oh, you just fell
the kinds of things that I did, but it happened along the way.
Okay, and who did you fall in love with?
I fell in love and married my husband, whose name is Burrell Haysbert.
Good. How long have you been married?
Oh, gee. Now you asked me another hot question. Too long.
Too long. Okay. But you were married long enough to get some children, were you not?
I have 5 children.
You have 5 children?
I have 5 children. Yes. Married long enough to get all those kids.
Okay, now where are they now?
My oldest son is a public school teacher in Maryland. He actually lives in Maryland, but he teaches in the D.C., Maryland area. My second child is a daughter, and she's here with me working on her master's. My third child is a son. He's in New York. He works for J.P. Morgan. My fourth child is a son. He is a junior computer engineering major at Hampton. And my fifth child is a daughter, and she is a freshman high school student at Guthrie High here in Oklahoma.
Oh, I see. Well, what does your husband do?
He's a real estate broker.
Where?
He's in Virginia.
Okay, well, you better come to Oklahoma, don't you?
Well, his business has him there, so that will be determined by him.
Okay, not by you, by him, yeah.
That is correct.
Okay, now, when did you hear about Langston University?
I heard about Langston University by hearing about Ernest L. Holloway, to be quite honest with you. Dr. Holloway, as you have said, as I heard you talk about the institution, is well known throughout the historical black community college environment. He is known as an individual who's been very outspoken for HBCUs, very outspoken for African Americans, and very outspoken for education in general. So I knew of Dr. Holloway long before I knew of his institution. So I met him some years ago as a part of Mafia, which is that organization that spearheads the legislative initiatives and the like for HBCUs, for which there are about 105 members of the organization.
Okay, and so you heard about Langston University.
Yes.
And you applied for the presidency of Langston University.
Yes, I did.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, now, what do you feel? I mean, you came to Langston in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, right?
Yes, I did.
And I happen to be one of the people that interviewed you.
Oh, yes, you did.
I thought I did a good job.
You did a superb job, and I say it like that because I've said to you, I knew then as I sat and observed you on the front row, with the look that you were giving me, you were telling me and anybody else that could see your face, she better get this right.
Well, you remember I asked you, I said, okay, what's going to happen to the teachers and the people out at Langston University?
That's correct, you asked me that.
And you told me what you're going to do.
Yes, you asked me, you said, now, if you get this job, are you going to fire all the deans and the chairs and all those people? I said, Ms. Luper, do I look like, I didn't know your name, but I said, do I look like a foolish woman? And you looked at me and I said, well, no, I'm not. So, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I remember that quite well.
Yes.
You are a member of a sorority, too, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Which one?
I'm an Alpha Kappa Alpha lady.
Oh, I see. You're an Alpha Kappa Alpha lady. Well,
Yes,
I'm
I
a
am.
Theta Phi Beta sorority lady.
Wonderful. My mentor was as well. My mentor is as well.
Oh, good. And my best sister is a member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. I have another sister. Oh, not biologically, it's a member of the Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. They are all good.
Oh, yes.
But then we get back to Langston University. I heard you speak at a reception at the state capitol. And you said you had a new vision for Langston University. What is that vision?
My vision is to move Langston from excellence to greatness. And in order to do that, I have, and my constituency body, I should add, has joined me in developing this new 10-year vision for the institution. It includes first and foremost preparing students for a global marketplace, and to do that, making the institution a student-centered campus. As a student-centered campus, we envision recruitment of students that are not only African Americans, Caucasians, but with a special emphasis on Hispanics and Native Americans. As such, we hope to increase our enrollment to 5,000 within the next 5-year period.
Okay, now you've lost me. You're going to go out and solicit what group of students?
Hispanics and Native Americans.
What are you going to do about the black students?
Well, what I said was, we're going to continue to recruit African Americans and Caucasians. We're going to put an emphasis on Native Americans and Hispanics because those two populations are not well served at Langston. That does not mean by any means that we're going to stop recruiting our own. That would defy our very mission. But at the same time, there are other minorities in the state of Oklahoma that I think deserve the opportunity to be educated at this great university. And as such, I want to make sure that they have that opportunity. So that's what I mean when I say that we will put an emphasis on recruiting Hispanics and Native Americans because we have not done that to the extent in times past that the representation on our campuses are reflective of the percentage of those minorities in the state of Oklahoma.
How are you going to do it?
We're going to hire a recruiter that has the experience and the language, a bilingual recruiter that can help us to infiltrate, for lack of a better term, the school systems where Hispanics are educated more than not, and then share with them the good news about Langston University.
Well, where are you going to do it?
We're going to do it all over the state. There are some
I say,
countries.
when are you going to do it?
Oh, we have begun that process already.
Oh, you've already hired someone to do it?
We have not hired them. We're in the process. We've had at least one or two that have been identified. We're in the process of interviewing, setting up interviews for those individuals so that we can bring one of them on board. Yes.
Okay. Now, since you've been at Langston University, have you hired new people?
I have hired no one to date. I have hired no one to date.
Have you fired any?
I have terminated one individual. There have been some individuals that have been notified that their contracts will be non-renewed. And that's totally different from terminating a person.
Okay, well, explain it to me. Remember, I'm from Grayson High School. Okay, because see, I have been fired. I was picking cotton down in Hoffman, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was chopping cotton, my sister and I. And Mrs. Bennett fired me and paid me, we were making 75 cents a day, and paid me 37 cents. And boy, she just walked there and said, "You're fired, Clara." And I never forgot that, really. I've never forgotten that, and I tell you that all over the world. I got fired because I was chopping cotton. She said I was chopping too much cotton down. When you have a contractor, you have to explain to people why you fired them.
Well, let me go back and tell you, first of all, we've had an experience. I not only chopped the cotton, I had to pick the cotton as well, so I do understand what that's like.
Okay.
Now, in the state of Oklahoma, and you probably know more about this than I do, but in the state of Oklahoma, the state is an at-will state. Now, that means that not only can the employees indicate to the places of employ when they want to leave, either by retirement or resignation, that the employer can also notify the employee when they would like to not renew their contract. And in either case, there is no reason that the individual or the institution has to say the whys. For example, with that same scenario you shared, if you would decide that you didn't want to pick the cotton anymore that day, you could have notified the person that hired you that, well, I don't think I'm going to pick cotton anymore today. Can you give me my wages? The person then would have to give you your wages and you'd be on your way. So at will means that the employee can notify the employer, or in this case the institution, that they are resigning and moving on. They're only required to inform them, and that's a professional courtesy. By the same token, the institution can notify individuals that they're not going to renew their contract. And yes, there have been some individuals notified that the institution would not renew their contract.
Okay, now, what are the terms about which you use not to renew people's contracts?
The terms...
I might come out there and apply for a job, and when my contract is terminated, you have never seen such hell that I would raise.
Well, that's all right. You can do that.
Okay.
You can do that. As I said, the state is an at-will state. Now, that's not something that I created when I got here. That's just the way that is. And that, again, means that both individuals can notify the other that you're discontinuing your agreement to work for them or they work for you.
Okay, now let me ask you.
Yes.
When you say to an employee, I'm not going to renew your contract, does that mean that they have not done their job well?
Not necessarily.
Well, what does it mean?
It means that the institution, let me back up and say this. It means that the institution has organized. You just asked me the question in terms of where Langston's going. What's my vision? You've heard me talk about it. When an institution or an organization, the country or the state, has a new direction, a new vision, in which they decided not to remain stagnant, then with that new vision, that new direction, the organization is going to determine what they need to put in place in order to move forward. That's whether it's Langston University, State of Oklahoma, or the United States of America. And what has happened here at Langston, or is presently happening here at Langston, is just that. Every constituency group, faculty, staff, alumni, students, and current administration had a role to play in the vision for Langston's future. With that vision for Langston's future, it's calling for some reorganization. For example, I just said to you that part of the vision is to recruit our students and increase the enrollment to 5,000. That means it's going to necessitate some changes. Some of the changes there will mean, as you just heard me say, to hire a new recruiter. Another change would be that we have to look at classroom teaching facilities. We will need more for that number of student increase. There are any number of changes that will occur with the new vision. And part of the changes that will occur, that is occurring, is that to position the institution for the next 10 years, there will be a need and has been a need to restructure. And in that regard, there are going to be individuals whose contracts will not be renewed, and there may be other individuals who will be offered a new employment appointment. But those things have not occurred.
Okay, since you've been at Langston University, have you had the opportunity in the few months that you've been there to evaluate your staff to such an extent that you would understand which members of the staff, which members are not ready to go into this new vision?
Those individuals that have done that evaluation, Mrs. Luper, I have had that opportunity to evaluate those individuals sitting at my table. When I say my table, I'm talking about those that represent the administrative council, my vice presidents and the like. Those individuals have had the responsibility for evaluating the individuals under them. They are those that made the decisions in terms of their particular units as to who would be non-reappointed.
Oh, I see. You're saying that, okay, now look at me. I'm in the history department.
Yes.
Now for a minute, my boss has evaluated me and said, Clara, you aren't going to the new vision. You're not fitting into the new vision. And then the head of that department would recommend to the president that my contract would be terminated.
Not quite right.
Well, what's wrong about it? Tell me.
I'm getting ready to.
Okay.
And I'm very pleased that you've given me the opportunity to explain this, because I know a number of people, as rumors would have it, are rumor milling it. What has occurred is simply this. Yes, there is a new vision. And each individual that is not going to be continued may or may not have anything to do with their performance. But what has occurred is that the immediate supervisor, who works most closely with that individual, as you have indicated, will be the best person to do the assessment or evaluation and make any determinations about that person's employment. That individual will then notify the faculty or staff that they are recommending non-reappointment for them. They would make that recommendation in a written form to their immediate supervisor, which may be the dean or another unit head, and from there it goes to a particular vice president.
Well, who will evaluate the supervisors?
I'm sorry?
Who will evaluate the supervisor?
Ultimately, a vice president is over every aspect of the university. For example, for the teaching aspect of it, there's a vice president for academic affairs. For the student aspect of it, there's a vice president for student affairs. For the fiscal and administrative services aspect of the institution, there's a vice president for physical affairs. Then, of course, the president is their immediate supervisors. So those vice presidents are the individuals that sit at my table that, yes, for the time that I've been here and the experience I bring to the table, I'm able to evaluate them. I'm their immediate supervisor. They, in turn, serve as supervisors for others. And those individuals are able to make those evaluations and assessments. Just as you are on your program, there's, you can evaluate anyone that works with you in your program. And that's the kind of thing that's happened here. So those individuals have sat with individuals, told them what they're recommending. They then have made those recommendations. They have received non-reappointment letters, and their appointment will not be continued at the end of their appointment period. And that period may be June, it may be August, maybe October, I don't know all.
Well, what has been the reaction to it?
What has been the reaction?
Yes.
The kind of reaction that I'm getting now. People ask me questions about it. I've had about 3, 4, maybe 4 or 5 telephone calls, that's all. Because the thing that I find is that most people that have asked me about it, once I've explained what it is, they do understand what at will is all about. They do understand that when there's a new organizational structure and changes and a vision, that there will be changes. No institution, no organization, no entity can remain stagnant. If you intend to move and grow, change is imminent.
Well, you aren't saying that Langston was stagnant, are you?
No, I said no institution can remain stagnant. No institution, not as in institution Langston, any entity. Maybe that's a better word. No entity.
Now, when we look at things, you say that your words are, and I hope I'm quoting you correctly, that you're going to move Langston from greatness or from excellence to greatness.
That is correct.
Okay, now explain that.
That's the theme that the administration and I have adapted. The institution, as you said, without question, is not only a fine institution, it's an excellent one. And I believe that there's always a more excellent way. In spite of the tremendously effective job that Langston has done over its history, there is still room for growth, development, and as I said, a more excellent way.
Okay,
we have carved out that more excellent way with the 10-year vision of the institution.
Okay, I want you to stay on the line because our telephones are just lighted up here people asking questions. In the meantime, I've got to make some very important announcements. This portion of our program is being brought to you by Allstate Insurance Company, Marilyn Hildreth. You may call her at 843-0811. And uniquely you may go out to 830 North Britain Road, 730 Britain Road, and get the kind of dress that will make you stand out. Our next, this portion is also brought to you by Johnson Sardinas Daycare, located in the heart of Oklahoma City. Johnson Sardinas Daycare, excellent training, preparing young people for the real world. Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mr. Paul Matthews are the owners, and they are giving us the opportunity today to speak to the president of Langston University and answer some of the questions that you won't answer. The questions are coming in, and you may continue to call out here, and we will certainly get around to answering the questions. We do appreciate your involvement in this program. Now, Johnson Sardinas Daycare, 424-4656. You may call them, and they will take care of business. Kevin, you're all smiling. You're very happy today, aren't you?
Mom, I'm extremely happy, and I'd like to welcome the president of Langston University to the Clara Luper radio show. We're live and in beautiful living color. I'd also like to thank her for taking the time out of her morning to be a part of this show, explaining to the most intelligent listening audience in the world, not only in Oklahoma, but the world, about what's going to be happening at Langston University. We have a caller on the line that has a question for you, but we accept the question. Have you?
Kevin, you
Madam
write down the
President.
get the question, write it down, and I will give it to the President.
Madam President.
In the meantime, we were at Oklahoma State University, and the President came out and took his picture with me and welcomed me to the campus, and also pushed the
Do we have
we have someone on the line. Get the question so we can answer. Okay, here's a question for you, Madam President. This question is it true that a large number of students have been expelled from Langston University and they are still living on the campus?
I would hope that that is not true, because the term expel or expulsion means that the person is no longer a student. So I would hope that that is not true, because of the very nature of the word, meaning expulsion. Now, that is something that I would certainly investigate and determine any truth to it. But if one has been expelled from the institution, they should not be living on the campus.
Okay, that's one question that has come in. The next question is, you say you're moving Langston University to true greatness. What does that look like?
From excellence to greatness means that we will achieve the 9 or so core components of our vision.
We have 9 components?
About 9 components.
Okay, let's name some of them very quickly.
One of which I talked about when I said that we were going to increase the enrollment, become a student-centered campus. Another which is quality scholarly activities. Another which is program of distinction, closing the digital divide, distance education, fundraising, and capital growth. Those are all core components of the vision statement. We have achieved the aspects of our hope and dream for Langston and those core component areas. In our judgment, we will have moved the institution from excellence to greatness.
Okay, once again, we appreciate your question. If you have a question, be sure and call it in here, and we'll be happy to ask the President for you. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this is the show that you have waited for. I was supposed to talk to the President just a few minutes, and I've been talking to the President the last 28 minutes. You know, that's really something, Kevin. Who would have believed it?
I wouldn't have believed it. I didn't.
And I just got a call from Oklahoma State University. That President wants to be on, and we are going to allow that President to be on. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I'm talking to the President of Langston University, my university, your university. Now, Madam President, what about the future of Langston University's urban centers in Tulsa and Oklahoma City? That's a question that has just come in.
I'm so very pleased that that question is asked. It's one that's been asked of me quite a bit since I've been at Langston and, of course, in the great state of Oklahoma. And my resounding answer is there will continue to be a Langston University presence in Tulsa. What we're hoping to do at this point is that prior to my arrival, we were approved for Entrepreneurship Studies Center. We're in the process now. I just received at the board meeting yesterday approval to search and bring on board a dean for that new Entrepreneurship Studies Center. And I've just recently attended a national forum in Atlanta where I was a part of the first policy forum discussion on entrepreneurship studies for the country. So we're hoping to corner that market in Tulsa with our entrepreneurship studies.
What about Oklahoma City?
Well, I thought you first asked me about Tulsa.
Okay, now I'm asking you about Oklahoma City.
And Oklahoma City, we have one of our programs of distinction there that we hope to grow, and that is the program in rehabilitation counseling. That program, as you know, offers one of 2 masters in rehabilitation counseling. We have received approval from the A&M Board of Regents to pursue that program to the PhD level. We're pursuing approval now from the state regents of higher education for the PhD in rehabilitation counseling at our Oklahoma City campus. With that success, we will be the first such program in the state of Oklahoma.
Okay, we have a question. A lady's on telephone, so she just has to ask you a question. Calvin, is that Coco?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Coco, come on with your question.
Lex.
Okay. With a question.
Okay, good morning, Coco. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
We got the question. What was the question you wanted to ask?
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to let her know that I planned on going to Langston University.
Okay, well, thank you. I know that'll make her happy.
Okay.
Are you Hispanic? Are you Indian? Are you black?
I'm African American.
Oh, yeah, African American. Okay. Well, thank you. We'll catch it next week. We want to finish and try to get some of these answers to the president of Langston University. Madam President, we have another question here. I don't think that's important. They call you a hat-wearing president.
Yes, I am.
Why do you wear hats?
That's my signature.
Your signature?
That's my signature. I've been wearing hats for, I don't know, maybe about 15 or 20 years now, thereabouts. And I'll be honest with you, Ms. Luper, when I wear them, they're for a number of reasons. One of which I think I'm in good company when I see women like Dorothy Height and the Queen Elizabeth. They wear hats, so I'm in that company of a hat-wearing lady, and I love it. I also believe that a Southern woman, again, that's my hearing, my teaching, and my belief, that a Southern woman is adorned when she has a hat on, and obviously we know from our religious beliefs, for many, that one woman prays with a hat on.
Well, I wear a hat once a year, and that's Easter, and I wear the same hat every Easter. And last week when I walked in my church, one of the members said, well, I know it's Easter. Clara Luper's here with that same old ugly hat. Well, look, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and I'm very proud of Miss Black, Langston University. I was out at the pageant. Dr. Jones did a terrific job in representing you. And I missed you at that university.
Well, if I was not at that occasion, that means that I was out on official business somewhere else. Other than that, I'm very involved in my students' activities.
Okay. Now we have talked about the contract at Real State for Oklahoma with an at Real State, and you have talked about how many. You told me. Let's see. I'm trying to go through these questions and get the ones that will do. If I was out there. If I was at Langston University, I would really be wondering if I'm going to get a contract.
No, you wouldn't.
Why?
No, you wouldn't, because the non-reappointment letters have gone out and...
They've already gone out?
Yes, they've been out since the 21st. And I think that there are only, and I'm glad I got a chance to say this, I think that there are about 26 people affected. 15 of them are grant supported. Only 11 of those individuals are supported by state funds.
Okay, can they reapply?
They may reapply for other positions.
Okay, what other positions are open?
We're going to announce some positions. For example, there's a position that's on, I call it the wire now, for a CIO, a Chief Information Officer, that's out there. There are positions for counselors, that's out there. There's position for the one I just mentioned to you before, that is the Dean of the New Entrepreneurship Studies Center. That's out there as a position that's opening. I'm going to fill the position of a Vice President for Development. That's out there.
Okay, so all of you have gotten terminated.
No. These are not, no, Ms. Luper.
None.
These are not people that got non-renewed. You asked me what positions were there.
Okay, you told me, and I'm saying that if I were out there and I'd gotten one of those letters signed by the president of the university, I would go and apply for another position.
Well, and that's what I said. They may apply for other positions. You asked me which ones were out there. I began to name some of them. Those that I named is what I was saying to you are not necessarily the ones that were people that were non-reappointed. Because as I indicated, we are working on a vision. This is not something that was done just to do something. We're trying to move an institution to greatness.
Okay, now I know you're seeking, you said when you came here that you and President Holloway were friends.
Yes.
Okay, have you sought his advice in all of this?
Have I sought his advice on the vision? Dr. Holloway, as a part of the constituency, that is, I told you earlier and the listeners that all of the constituency group had a part or a role or the opportunity to have a role in shaping the vision for the future.
How about the Black Caucus?
Have I talked? Oh, yes, I've met with all those individuals. Everyone, Mrs. Luper and listeners, everyone that wanted an opportunity to shape Langston's future had that opportunity. I wrote a letter, an open letter, and an open call to all faculty, all students, all staff, all alumni, all community people to tell me what you wanted for Langston's future.
And that's
I wrote that letter and I got responses.
You're basing your future, the future of Langston University, on the involvement that you've gotten from people. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Now you know we are getting ready to make history in Oklahoma. Three of the graduates of Langston University are working very hard on this committee. We are building an Afro-American plaza in Oklahoma City. Have you heard about that?
We've gotten a letter, I believe, from Ms. Reese Parker, and I believe we have also responded to that letter.
Financially?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would like to let you know that we are down to the three finalists. One is from Colorado, one's from California, and one is from Oregon.
Right.
Or Seattle, Washington. Which one, Cal?
Please,
And
Seattle.
on May 1st at 1 o'clock, you are invited to come to Oklahoma City to the History Department and look at the three and see which was fit. I'm going to have to let you go, Madam President.
Thank
It's
you,
been
Madam
a pleasure
President.
visiting with you today.
Madam President,
For
is there
Mrs.
another
Luper,
name
I
you can
tell
call?
you, it's always great to talk to you. I expect you to do just what you're doing, and that is to find out what's happening. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to share what's happening at Langston.
But send me a press release.
I'm sorry?
Send me a press release so I can keep up.
All right, all right.
We did have a caller, though. They want to know the correct pronunciation of your name.
The correct pronunciation is Haysbert.
Haysbert, that's easy to pronounce. Goodbye, Madam President.
Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Look forward to doing this again and keep on keeping on.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
thank
Way to
you.
go,
Thank
Julie.
you.
Yeah, we're going to have to call you back because
Okay.
we have so many questions here that we cannot get to.
All
In
right.
the meantime, next week, Merlin and I will be flying into Washington, D.C.
For what?
Calvin, the YWCA USA, upon the recommendation of somebody, will be honoring me and I will receive an award.
Oh,
Excellent. Congratulations to you.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye, Madam
Bye-bye.
President.
Thank
Calvin,
you all so very much. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to speak to you publicly.
and well, thank you.
great.
You've
I'm
done it.
sure-
You've
I'm
spoken
sure
to
the
people all
audience
over this
loved
country.
it.
Okay.
Well, we don't have Lex with us, but we have Doug over there. Doug, thank you so much for being with us today and being on top of it.
Okay, Calvin.
But the big thing is that you have talked to Langston University. I want to you have talked to the president.
Yes, I talked to
I
the
want
president. I talked to all kinds of presidents.
Right, and you were mentioned quickly about your reception at Oklahoma State University.
Yeah,
up there
I
in
went down. They had
Stillwater.
a salad bowl showing what diversity really means in terms of salad. Not long ago, I was at the celebration at
Oklahoma
Kirkpatrick Center.
OCC also. That,
Yes.
that was a misplaced.
Okay, yes.
OCCC.
Right.
O-triple-C as they call it.
Okay.
Red schools.
Okay, Calvin, we've had a lot of deaths this week, and today we would like to extend our sincere sympathy and remembrance to the Kelly families. We lost one of our great leaders in Oklahoma City, Sherman Kelly, and that family is very grateful for all that you have done to them. And Calvin, do you have another?
I have one more. Also, Neola Aretha Fisher Robinson, Red as we called her. Services were held yesterday, and I want the family, all of the kids, and all of the grandkids, and the great-grandkids to know that we truly will miss a young lady that was influence all of us, and we're going to miss her greatly. But we want you to stay strong and want you to know that you have our prayers also.
Okay, we would like to extend our sympathy to all of the families. And this revival that's going on in Oklahoma City is something. I was at the Greater Bethel Baptist Church, and I'm telling you, I've never seen anything. Some kind of preaching. I'm talking about not a lot of hollering and yelling, but some preaching. And Reverend Carter, oh my gracious, graduate of John Marshall High School of Priest. And last night I had the opportunity to hear Reverend Charles from Los Angeles, California. And Reverend Charles did something that I haven't seen in a long time. He had people shouting all over the church. I'm talking about shouting. Oh my gracious, what a day and what a night. And tomorrow,
that will still be going on, right?
Yeah, tomorrow they will close out their services as usual at the St. John's Baptist Church, and I know everybody be there. Now, when we told this choir to go to practice today at 1 o'clock, because we want to hear them singing tomorrow, all of the choirs in Oklahoma City. Calvin, you know, as we look at things, we've seen a lot of changes in Oklahoma. Who would have thought that the president of Oklahoma State University would want to appear on the Clara Luper radio show? I guess I started something by having the president of Langston University. Now I've got to have the president of Oklahoma State University. I've got to have the principal of KIPP. I don't know about Oklahoma University because they decided not to participate in one of our activities. Maybe because
competition was too strong.
That's a good reason. Well, they can go say, oh, they want to. That's their private business. But in the meantime, we need help. Those of you that want to see Freedom Center go, we need some aluminum cans. This is aluminum can week. If you have some aluminum cans, please bring them to Freedom Center to help our young people pay their lights, gas, water bills.
Well, not only that, Mom, but in the newspapers there, not only that, but on Monday nights, I'm sure that's what Coco was going to talk about, but at 7 p.m., we still have the NACP Youth Council meeting. You know, we invite you to bring your kids. Don't just drop them off.
But don't bring them unless you want them disciplined.
Well,
because we don't play. We're in business, and our business is production.
Great things happen. I know that by now you've called that friend, you've called that neighbor, you've been a part of this show. But then this is a very special day, Mom. This is a day.
President, I was going to talk to the president for 15 minutes, and he got talked there for exactly 42 minutes.
Langston. I look forward to seeing the changes, not only out on the Hill, but in Oklahoma City and also in Tulsa. Because
but people want to hear you sing. Everywhere I go, I see people, and they say, oh, hi, Miss Luper. Hi, it's Calvin.
Well, Calvin is doing real well. Calvin is doing a lot better. And I've been in contact with my agent. I want those people up at OSU that had me on the play there that I happily got to be a part of. And my agent is not going to send a letter requesting money because I was on stage for, 2 minutes? And, you know, that generally costs. But today, this young lady is having her birthday.
But OSU did a skit on the Oklahoma City sit-in.
And that will be coming
lady that played Clara Luper was really out of sight.
She was out of
that white lady that carried that black baby in the, that was someplace. But in the meantime, Calvin, you better sing happy birthday because Nancy Davis is having a birthday. And another one is having a birthday. I'm not supposed to tell it, but I'm going to tell it.
But you got to tell it like it is. And it is. Aunt Nancy, happy birthday to you. Eunice Russell, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Aunt Nancy. Oh, happy birthday, Eunice Russell. Happy birthday to you. But may you, have many, watch this, more.
Can I hear that you and Sterling Mitchell are getting together and y'all gonna come out with a new CD. Wonder who will buy it. One thing about it, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and I love both of you. Clara Luper saying wherever you are and whatever you do, remember.
Early in the morning.
Early in the morning and drinking his coffee. You know, he got a way to sip that coffee. This is Clara Luper saying, don't tell me you love me, prove it. Bring some aluminum cans at the Freedom Center.
Prepare our students to go to Langston University.
Well, to all universities. Let them go to all universities. Clara Luper saying, whatever you do, stay out of trouble. And call me before you go to jail. Bye-bye.
Not while you're here.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the Clara Luper Show. Join Sister Clara Luper here each and every Saturday from 9 until 10. And until next Saturday, may God bless you.
All the views and opinions expressed on the preceding program are not necessarily those of AM Radio 1220 KTLV.
Father, I know everything I have.
This is AM 1220 KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City, and streaming audio at KTLV1220.com.
This is Tierney Cook, and I start my Saturday mornings with Demetrius Thomas and Lex on the Gospel Music Showcase.
You are listening to the Clara Luper Radio Show. And today I would like to start out not with Calvin singing happy birthday, but I want to tell you about somebody that's having a 100-year birthday. Hesper Parks Joseph will be celebrating 100 famous years on April the 28th in Arcadia, Oklahoma. Mr. Joseph has seen many changes in Oklahoma. Thank God for 100 years of living. That means that he has seen 100 Easters. 100 Easters. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Today's show is a very special show and is being brought to you by Johnson Shadina's Daycare. Johnson Shadina's, located in the heart of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Johnson Shadina's, owned by Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mr. Paul Matthews, is located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City. That telephone number is 424-4656. I'm going to tell you a secret. They will pick up your children, feed them, teach them something, and then when the day is over, they will take them home. Isn't that something? Johnson Shadina's Daycare, 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This program is also brought to you by Robert Gates of Gates Barber Shop, 2609 North Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City, and they are ready now to cut your hair. You don't need an appointment. All you have to do is to go in and say, I'm here. This is Easter time, and in Easter, it's time to think. And when you think, I want you to think about Hometown, located at 2001 Northeast 23rd Street, and they have some specials on today, especially in the meat department. Go to Hometown, 2001 Northeast 23rd Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Well, it's time to thank insurance, and we don't like to thank insurance, but that's something we have to have. So, in thinking insurance, Maryland would like for you to think about Allstate. Allstate Insurance Company, Maryland, your independent Allstate agent, is located at 730 West Britain Road, and the telephone number is 843-0811. If you notice today, I'm talking about my sponsors, because without our sponsors, we would not be on the air. And I want you to go, whatever you do, you go to our sponsors and say thanks to them. Thanks to Black's Flower Shop. Black's Flower Shop, located at 8485 Northeast 23rd Street, Oklahoma City. That telephone number is 424-4715. Fresh flowers, plants, gifts, balloon bouquets, fruit baskets, Flowers for all occasions, funeral flowers and sprays. Open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, 8:30 to noon on Saturday. It serves not only Oklahoma City, Midwest City, Dale City, and the Spencer area. Thank those of you who have supported Soul Bazaar 2006. And we had some AXO winners. We'll be telling you about those winners. Winners of the AXO, those people that will be representing the great state of Oklahoma at the National AXO competition in Washington, D.C. I would like to congratulate all of the winners, but they don't want me to tell you about them. They want to do it themselves. Yes, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and this is a special show. This portion of our show is being brought to you by Miss Black Oklahoma 2006. And incidentally, this evening at 4 p.m., the Oklahoma City Community College will select that one young lady that will represent Oklahoma City's Community College in the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant, which will take place June the 10th through the 17th, with the finals on June 17th. And today, at exactly 7 o'clock, the Miss Black Ardmore pageant will be held according to Mrs. Mary Johnson, known as the Fox, and she said that Ardmore will come to Oklahoma City in June and take the crown. That's what Mrs. Mary Johnson said. But I don't know about that, but that's what Miss Mary Johnson said. And that pageant will be tonight at 7 o'clock. And those people in the Ardmore area, be sure and get out and support it. And those people in Oklahoma City, why don't you go out to Oklahoma City Community College and see Mrs. Clara Ickes has done a terrific job. You remember her because pageantry is in her blood. And wherever she goes, you know that she will be giving young people a chance. I have a special gift for you today. And my gift to you is in the form of a sermon. I am expecting, and I know you are expecting. You can hardly wait to hear Reverend Benson. Well, anyway, don't you dare turn off the radio today, because you will have the opportunity to hear God's word as spoken by one of his leaders. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today we are all excited because we have seen Jerry Kaysen go to the top. Did you know he's now head chief of the Oklahoma Highway Department? Did you know that? Oh, many of you might remember him because he served as a jailer in Lawton, Oklahoma. He served in Norman, Oklahoma. He came to Oklahoma City, and in 1982 he joined the Highway Patrol, graduated from the Oklahoma Highway Patrol Academy, and he was assigned to Troop A of the Cleveland County District. In 1984, he was promoted to a second lieutenant. Yes. Go on, Jerry. Go on to the top because the bottom is too crowded. He became a first lieutenant. He became a major. And today he stands as the head of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. If you don't know Jerry, you got to know him. Aren't you proud? Jerry Kaysen, chief of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, and he was appointed by the Secretary of Security, and that Secretary of Security did a good job. We also received something else, and if anything should happen, everybody in Oklahoma City and in Oklahoma and the world should give thanks to Ada Lloyd Scipio, who opened the door to Oklahoma University where blacks could enter that university. Not only that, but because of Ada Lloyd Scipio, G.W. McLaurin, the NACP and others, guess what we have today at Oklahoma University, Calvin? Make a guess. Yes, make a guess. Make a guess. make a guess, because at least,
We have a new building.
oh, I'm not talking about building, I'm talking about something that's more valuable. Calvin, now just think about it. Suppose Ada Loy Scipio had not gone down to OU. You would have never had a black head of the basketball.
You the head coach, a black coach for OU?
You're right.
Well, no. Okay, I've heard about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it. From what I've read, everybody is enthused, and everybody's anxious to see what happens. Well, first of all, let me say good morning to you.
Good morning, Calvin.
And good morning to the most intelligent listening audience in Oklahoma. By now, I know that you call that friend, you call that neighbor, and I know that you called Mrs. Turner and reminded her to be a part of this, the Clara Luper Radio Show.
Well, Miss Turner has to be a part of it, because what would this radio show be without Mrs. Turner listening?
Well, it wouldn't be quite the same. But congratulations also to the new coach at OU, to the chief of police, chief of highway patrol.
And even OG&E made a move.
What kind of move was that?
OG&E made a move. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. You got me guessing too.
OG&E,
Beautiful Saturday morning.
Chappell, I call him Chappell, has been named as the community affairs manager by OG&E Electric Company. Isn't that something? Isn't that exciting? That is really
tell you, good things do happen here on the show, on the Clara Luper Radio Show.
Yes, it does.
And it's going to be interesting with those three people being in those high positions, knowing that the spotlight will be on them, but they've been prepared for it. So I'm looking forward to them doing a great job for both our state and for our community and for their families and for those young people that are coming up behind
Not
them.
only that, they're doing it for all of us, because they just didn't pop up like popcorn.
Yeah.
And certainly I know that the new basketball coach and these others are very grateful to Ada Loy Scipio, because if it had not been for Ada Loy Scipio, they wouldn't have been down there.
Who was the first black highway patrolman?
Okay, well, somebody out there knows. We don't need to know the date, because this is Easter, and we are getting ready to celebrate Easter. What are you doing for Easter? Are you going to church? Well, let me tell you something. This is the beginning of a simultaneous revival. For 62 years, the Baptist ministers in Oklahoma City have presented to this city an opportunity to hear great ministers from all over the United States. The 62nd annual simultaneous revival. All you Baptist ministers that believe in working together, not Baptist ministers that believe in being somewhere by yourself, but Baptist ministers that realize that if we all can get together, we can make a change, and this has happened. 62 years, yes.
Goodness.
Reverend John Reed is the president of the Baptist Ministers Association, and they are bringing some outstanding ministers. Not only can you hear them at night, you can hear them at 12 o'clock, and not only if you don't want to hear them at the beginning at 7 o'clock, you can hear them get close to midnight. These people aren't playing. They are serious, and they have been doing it for years.
You know, why?
62 years.
You don't ask why, Mom.
Why?
Why have a simultaneous revival?
Because in the first place, Reverend W.K. Jackson and others started this movement because they saw a need for it. People need to hear the word. People need to believe. And this is what is happening. And I'm going to tell you that you must be excited about the midday services. On Tuesday, they will be at the Faith Memorial Baptist Church. Reverend Brian Carter from Dallas, Texas would be the speaker. And Brian Carter graduated from John Marshall High School in Oklahoma City.
Great.
I don't want you to miss that. That's Tuesday at exactly 11 o'clock. On Wednesday, April the 19th, at the Greater Shiloh Baptist Church, Reverend David Belks from Detroit, Michigan will be the speaker. But then on Thursday, Tabitha Baptist Church will have the honor of hosting the midday services. Reverend Theron Williams from Indianapolis, Indiana will be the guest speaker. On Friday, April the 12th, all eyes will be toward Tabernacle Baptist Church, where Reverend C. Dennis Edwards from Cincinnati, Ohio will be the speaker. You cannot beat this. Now, how can you go to all of these places and hear these speakers when they are right here at Oklahoma City? Don't miss that opportunity. But on Tuesday, April the 18th at the Paradise Baptist Church, Reverend Bailey from Dangerfield, Texas will be the guest speaker. And on Wednesday, April the 19th at the Greater New Zion Baptist Church, Reverend Roosevelt Bradley from Gary, Indiana will be the guest speaker. And on April the 20th at the Greater Mount Olive Baptist Church, Reverend Stephen Thurston from Chicago, Illinois will be the guest speaker. And on Friday, April the 21st, Reverend H.B. Charles from Los Angeles, California will be a guest speaker. I know one thing, and I want you to remember this. You have the opportunity, and you don't even have to pay an admission fee to go to these services. You go in free. But be sure and take something to put in collection, because you got to help these poor Baptist ministers. Let me ask you a personal question. Would you like some Delta catfish today fried to your satisfaction? Would you like some good old pinto beans, corn, coleslaw, cornbread, and a dessert? You can get all of that for $6.
Where?
Calvin, you asked me where?
Where?
At 4502 Northeast 23rd Street. And that's the location of what club?
That's the Grenadier Club.
At the Grenadier.
The Masonics getting together.
King David Lodge, number 50, is holding its annual fish fry today at the club, 4502 Northeast 23rd Street. Hey, write that down, because I know you want some delicious catfish. You want some pinto beans. You want some coleslaw. You want some cornbread and a dessert. You know what? You can get all of that for a small donation of $6. And that's a real bargain. And then afterwards, those fine people from King David Lodge number 50 sponsoring an Easter egg hunt from 12 noon until 1 p.m. Wonder who will find the largest number of Easter eggs. I don't know. But they will also be for kids. Now, I don't want all you adults running out there looking for eggs. This is for kids. But I do want you adults to go out and get you some catfish. I know I'm going to get some catfish. I want some Delta catfish. You know, that's a different kind of catfish, fried to my satisfaction.
I wonder what Delta catfish. Oh, but I don't know. The best thing to do is just go to 4500 block on Northeast 23rd, and that's 4502 Northeast 23rd, and you will see the Grenadier Club, and then you will see the crowd, and then just pull over and park and be a part of it. $6, that's not bad. Easter egg hunt, that's not bad. My goodness gracious.
You can't get catfish anywhere else for $6. I know
Certainly
that.
Not.
Okay.
Certainly not. And Delta catfish too, that's that real mud. That's what it is.
No, Calvin,
that's the muddy fish.
No, that's that Delta catfish.
Okay.
And those pinto beans cooked by people that knows, they really understand how to cook beans. Well, once again, I'm real excited because at 4 o'clock today, Oklahoma City Community College will select that one young lady that will represent that college in the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant. And I know that will be just great. Calvin, this has been a sad week for us. We say goodbye to one of our sorrows, Mrs. Mamie Jackson. We say goodbye to James E. Garland, Sr. on April the 11th. And on Wednesday, Oklahoma City will say goodbye to Sherman Kelly. That funeral will be held at the New Zion Baptist Church at 11 o'clock. That's Sherman B. Kelly, and those of you from Hoffman, Oklahoma, you know all of the Kellys. So this is one of the descendants of the Kellys. How can I say thank you to those of you that attended the Soul Bazaar, those of you that supported it, and you made it a success. I would like to thank you, and I would like to congratulate all of the winners. And Merle wanted to tell you about the winners, so I'm not going to tell you. And if she doesn't tell you today, I'll see to it that she will tell you tomorrow.
There you go.
People are still talking about the dedication and the opening of Douglas High School. And I have been told, and I've been asked where were all the teachers? You see, that one of the things
The
that...
teachers, what do you mean? The teachers from Douglas High School? Or
Yes,
just
they say
teachers?
there were so few teachers there, it was unbelievable. If I were the principal of Douglas High School, and people are making their living at Douglas High School, and they were too lazy to get off their educated behind to come out to the dedication, I wouldn't recommend them for anything.
Well, see, I guess that's why you're not principal, Mom.
But if I were principal Calvin, now, I've had experience in education.
You've had experience, but you never were a principal because of that fact like that. You probably been too hard on them.
People coming to Oklahoma City, making their living at Douglas High School, and then when the school is open, and they told the teachers to stand there, a few teachers, it was embarrassing. Now, if you were a teacher, I'm talking about you. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm going to call you an educated parasite. A parasite is something to feed on something else.
Well, that doesn't sound right coming from Douglas. But, the progress is really going on there.
The progress is going on, but nothing is better than its head. I want you to remember that. The head. These teachers are teaching kids responsibility. They are teaching kids more than history and math and chemistry and all that. They need to teach them how to support. That's a key word. Support your own school. Now, my grandmother was not educated, but she says it's a poor dog that'll wag his own tail. Well, Calvin, we are doing real well with the Afro-American Plaza, and I can hardly wait, because on May 1st, at 9 o'clock, there will be representatives here to show you their concept of what this plaza should be like. Aren't you excited about it? On May 1st at 9 o'clock. Now, some of you have not contributed one penny, and I didn't ask you for anything. I just told you. I thought you would have enough sense, common sense, to support it. And if you don't support Afro-American Plaza, whether you're black or white, you don't understand history. Because I have to keep telling you that history comes in black and white. It's in both colors.
Well, we have a call on the line.
Okay,
can we go to that call and see what's happening? Good morning, Carla. Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show on this a very beautiful Saturday morning. Thank you for being a part of this show. How are you doing?
Good morning, Calvin. I'm fine, and then good morning to you also, Mrs. Luper.
Good morning.
And hello to you in radio land, you that's listening to the Clara Luper program this morning. And Clara, I was just listening to you, and you were talking about we had the great dedication of the great Dudley School, that's Northeast Pride School, and you tell me the teachers weren't there, and you said that they're parasites. I got a better name for them. I'm calling them the Miss and the Mr. Mistletoe. I got to find out how many mistletoes do we have over there at Douglas. And I'm going to go out there and get to that mistletoe and say, now, what teacher was not there? And I'm going to do, like Christ, he said, now, you get some blood and you put them on these doors, when I come, I'm going to pass by. Because I want the people to recognize and to know our mistletoe teachers. And you know what mistletoe is, Miss Luper?
I know it's something that just like a parasite.
And it lives on what?
Other people.
Yes, the mistletoe has to have a tree to live on. So that tree survives him. And I guess they do not know. School, when they come to Douglas, to work at Douglas, that is where they are being gainfully employed. This is where they're being paid. The students are there to help maintain them a salary. They don't get a salary if their students are not there. And Ms. Luper, I know you haven't heard this, but I heard the other day that a student was put out of school for the rest of the year because he was talking to his brother, his cousin, or somebody that was on the bus. And the bed said, okay, so for him to do something, the boy didn't hear it, so he had an okay sign. You know how you put your thumb and fourth fingers together and pull the through fingers up? Anyway, that's what you say, okay, you doing good. Usually that's what I do because I know I was at a program and the girl made a good speech, and when she got up, I made my...
What happened to the boy? What happened to the boy?
Well, they suspended him from school, but as I'm looking at the Jet magazine this month, and on page 23, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They said it was gang sign. And I'm wondering what sign does this book have that's the gang sign? Because the sign that I'm looking at is the same sign that I heard the boy was put out of school for. And this sign is asking you, are your fingers okay? Or are you diabetic?
We cannot afford to put people out of school. We're trying to get them in school.
Well, I heard this now that this boy is kicked out because he was giving gang.
Well, let's
gang
get that
signs.
boy's
I don't know what gang signs are.
Get the boy's
so
name.
I'm going over to Douglas also. I said, now y'all teach me these gang signs so that I will know them.
Douglas High School was honored this past week because Frederick Douglass's great-grandson spoke, and he said he did a terrific job, and the teachers should have been there. Now, one thing about Oklahoma City, they're getting ready to lose that superintendent. Superintendent Moore.
Right, he's leaving and going to Texas.
He's going to Texas. I'm telling you, that's really something. Wonder who will replace him. Well, anyway, the Board of Education has a job because now they have to go out and find a superintendent of school.
But Mrs. Luper, I still want to comment on you reminding them that we are still working on our Afro-American classes. And I have several friends who have pledged and told me that they were going to give me donations. And so I don't accept donations.
I don't accept pledges. I accept the cash.
Well, they told me this month ago, and so I'm going to call them and see if they want me to come pick up the pledge that they said they
why would you have to come and pick it up?
And these are my good friends, and I'm sure that they're going to do that because they don't want me to go on your radio program and say, oh, Miss So-and-so said she's going to give this and she didn't, and so-and-so said she's going to give this and she didn't. And because I know they want to be a part of this project. They want to see Oklahoma grow. You know, we go to a lot of things here where we never put any money into. We haven't supported. And we're just so happy that we can go to this and attend this. And we're giving them a chance now to help support the elephants.
They supported the elephant. They helped to buy an elephant.
Well, we're going back too far.
Well, I don't go too far. History is nothing but a story.
People won't remember no elephant.
And in a few minutes, they remember they gave to the elephant. And if they care more about an elephant than they do black and white people, that's part of the Afro-American.
That's true. And I hope they are listening to us. And I know they are going to come and bring in their donations or send in their donations. And my telephone number is 427-3925. So now if you want to call me and tell me to come pick up a donation, I'd be happy to do so.
Well, I'm not going to pick up any donation. My people are bringing my donations to me because gas is so high. Have you ever heard of gas in Oklahoma being $2.85 a gallon, $2.75? Well,
that in my life, and I know this morning's paper said, how high will gas go? And I'm wondering that too. Because I guess we're going to have to start getting us some bicycles or some motorcycles or something and start walking.
I can see you pedaling up that hill on 16th Street.
Now, don't you see me? But nevertheless, we do feel... Mr. Luper, let me tell you something else that our industries are doing, our co-ops, the people that's in business. You know, if you owe a bill, and your bill is due, let's pick a date. Let's say your bill is due on the 10th.
Let's not talk about it. Let's do it real. Now, ONG is sending out notices that are cutting off gas if you're how many days behind?
No, your bill is due on, let's say on the 4th, 72 hours after the 4th. Your bill is due on the 4th. 72 hours, the girl told me. If your money is not in there 72 hours, they send you a cut-off notice. I'm wondering what is happening.
A cut-off notice?
Because, you know, I've been paying gas bill for a long time all my life, and I know I've sent in a lot of checks, and they were later than 72 hours. So I'm wondering, what are we doing?
We're trying to make all the money we can.
I got to ask my northeast friends, my northwest friends, and my southwest friends, are they getting cut-off notices because I don't believe it?
We'll find out. I might have to go, but I would like to thank you and thank you for your participation in the Soul Bazaar, and I'll see you this evening as you go to Oklahoma City Community College at 4 p.m. The students select a young lady that will represent Oklahoma City Community College.
Community College. I sure will be there, and I will see you there. And please, people, go to church on Sunday. I know we'll see you because Sunday is Easter, and I know you'll be there in that Easter frolic. And bring your children. This is one Sunday. I know we're going to pick our children and come
thank you. Thank you.
So
I'm looking to hear from Mrs. Bosie Walker, and I would like to welcome Ed to Oklahoma City. Let's hear from...
Ed's here from Houston?
No, from Wichita,
Kansas. Okay.
Yes.
You know, Mom, I'd like to remind everyone that there is a place that is open 24, well, not 24 hours, but 7 days a week. That is Hometown IGA, located in Northeast 23rd and Martin Luther King. Now, you can go there and you can get the very best in grocery shopping. You can get some courteous service. You get somebody to help you take your groceries to the car. You don't believe me? Give it a try. Hometown IGA, Northeast 23rd and Martin Luther King. I have a call on the line, too.
Yes, hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the beauty queen for the state of Oklahoma, Cynthia Curson. I'm calling to let you know that I had a good time at the Soul Bazaar, and I hope everyone else did. But most of all, we need to support our NAACP members of the Youth Council. Therefore, we can be able to go to other regional conferences and conventions. So I just want everyone to come out and get their membership.
Okay, well, thank you. You represent strength because I never shall forget when your father passed at his funeral, you were able to sing 2 songs, and I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye. Bosie Walker is back. Well, I don't know whether I'm going to get to hear from Bosie Walker today, but if I don't. Bosie Walker, yes.
Okay.
Bosie Walker is back. But Ed is in town from Wichita. He's visiting his beautiful sister.
Now I got it straight.
Now you have it straight.
You know what happened last night in Oklahoma City, too?
What?
The Ambassador Choir put on a performance, I heard. I was there. It was one of the best presentations that they've ever seen. And I want to compliment the Ambassador Choir. One, for being, I need to know how many years they've been together, but they've been together a while.
But I know these Baptist preachers been together for 62 years. Now that's really a simultaneous revival for 62 years. That's really something. 62 years. And there are some new preachers. My down in Huffman, we call them jackleg preachers that don't participate. But there are some preachers that have been participating for 62 years. For 62 years, they got together as a group and said, this is what we are going to do, and this is the week. Don't you miss the simultaneous revivals. Well, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and next week, the president of Langston University will be my distinguished guest. She told me she would be on my show, and when you tell me something, I believe you.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
Oh, I got Dowden Thomas over here again, but I'm not going to come out with it. Cause,
you don't believe she's going to be on my show next week?
Well, I would like to believe that. I would hope that she would be, but there's so many things going on at Langston. We're getting closer to graduation. I'm certain that she's going to find a reason not to be able to call in, or especially not to come out. But then I hope that she shows, hope that she calls, but I know that they're busy at Langston.
Everybody's busy. They're busy all over this world. That's no excuse.
Well,
these are state employees, and we are paying their salaries, and we have to get something out of them. I would like to thank the members of the House of Representatives from that Tourism and Recreation Committee that endorsed the Afro-American Plaza. I would like to especially thank that chairperson, Representative Miller. And Representative Miller, thanks for the picture. And Representative Shoemake, I would like to thank all of you. I would like to thank the bar. I would just like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I know Representative Shelton and others, we are going on to victory. And you will have the opportunity to be a part of one of the greatest events in American history. Kevin.
Yes, Mom.
This is the day that the Lord has made, and we can certainly rejoice it.
Definitely.
But as we celebrate, our thoughts turn toward Easter. What's the real meaning of Easter? What is it all about? What don't you tell me, Kelly, because I don't want to hear from you.
Okay.
Because you read the word.
I've read the word, but I'm getting ready to give you an
speeches about
opinion.
Easter. Yes. But today we have a young man that's going to be here that will deliver my Easter message. That's my gift to you. Reverend Lee A. Benson Jr. How much do you know about him? Well, I know those of you down in Rewoke, Oklahoma is listening. I know you're saying, that's my pastor. He's the pastor of the Macedonia Baptist Church in Rewoke, Oklahoma. And those of you that's been around Oklahoma City, you remember him as the publicity director for, I think it was St. John, I don't know, and I'm not sure. But one thing, I'm sure that he better be here today because he promised me that he would be here to deliver my Easter message. So those of you out in Radio Land, be sure and stay tuned because you're going to hear Reverend Lee A. Benson Jr. And I want you to listen very carefully because I have a surprise for those of you. Once we hear his message, I'm going to ask a question about his message, and I'm going to see if you can answer it. Well, I know one thing. Last night we went down to defeat.
Oh, you mean the basketball team?
The basketball team went to defeat.
Early in the basketball season, they said something about between the ears. And our guys that played with the New Orleans, Oklahoma City Hornets, they played an outstanding game.
The first half.
Yeah, the first half and also during the fourth quarter. But the third quarter has been difficult for them all year. It's going to take some new blood in there to make a difference. But I was proud of the fact that Oklahoma City showed up so many different times. Last night was a record crowd, 19,000.
Over 19,000.
I think it shows that this community is ready for a pro basketball team, also probably ready for a professional football team. But those powers to be, those people that have the thing that you listen to, money talks. And that's what we need to do that. As consumers, we can continue to support them and we can encourage them to come back, but then money talks, and I'm looking forward to what the Oklahoma City, New Orleans Hornets do within the coming months. And will they come back to the Ford Center? Will they come back to Oklahoma City?
But I know one thing, something exciting is happening at Oklahoma State University. They are having a salad bowl in front of the Edmond Law Library out on the lawn from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. according to Miss Cole. That's quite an affair. They are going to reenact the sit-ins at the Salad Bowl, and that will be on this Thursday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is something that's really exciting. And I would like to thank all of you for your interest in history. Many of you have gone to the New History Center. You've seen Black history in a different form, and you've called me. And I would like to congratulate the students. It happened to be white that are calling me constantly for interviews. And I will be with some students on Monday, Tuesday, and on down the line. This has motivated them to do some additional study.
But you know, one thing about that is that there are very few calls that come from members of the minority community for you.
But don't blame me, blame the teachers, because one teacher from that John Wesley school really brought the kids in. That was Mrs. Carter.
Right.
And Mrs. Carter was very happy to be a part of the Soul Bazaar, and she's joining our team. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this is a very important show today because it's Easter. And I would like to thank you for the flowers that you've sent me. I would like to thank you for the Easter cards, and most of all, you don't know how it makes you feel for people to be interested in you. I really enjoy being Clara Luper, and the reason you speak to me, you say, "Hello, Mrs. Luper." Yes, yes, yes. You know what? When people pass notes in school, you have a serious problem. I never shall forget one time I was teaching a passing notes, and all at once I didn't know what was happening.
You taught school too long, Mom. That's not a note.
That's
the information for the next ad coming up.
Information. Yes, it's time for the simultaneous revival, and I want you to get ready to go out. It doesn't make any difference if you're sick. Everybody's sick of something. Somebody's sick of me and somebody's sick of you. So we are all sick of something. It's a different kind of sickness. You have rheumatism, you have arthritis, and you have people that are just sick of people. But it's Easter time.
Yes, it is.
And on Easter time, our thoughts, our mind turn to the cross. And I've invited Reverend A. Benson Jr., the pastor of the Macedonia Baptist Church in Uroka, Oklahoma, to deliver our message. Thank you, Reverend Benson, and I'm so happy you are here. It's all yours.
God bless you, Sister Luper and Brother Calvin. Thank you so much for the invitation and the privilege to share with your listening audience. And before I get started, I know I've got 8 minutes to tell a 2,000-year-old story, but I thank you for the opportunity to come this morning and present this resurrection story to your listening audience. And I want to commend you for the job that you do on your show for all these many years, and how you've touched many lives with all the good work that you do. So lest we belabor the point, this morning, the day before Easter, on the Clara Luper Show, I want to share a gospel news break, a joyous news break hot off of Heaven's Press, an update and a summary revolving around the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This resurrection celebration season is news that we can use to discount all the year-round bad news. With all of the negative bad news that we see, view, and hear the length and breadth of the world over, we need some good news behind the news of drugs and gangs and drive-by shootings and rapes and murders and catastrophic earthquakes, warships in the Gulf, soldiers in Iraq, unrest on the Gaza Strip, mudslides on the West Coast, hurricanes in the Gulf Coast. We need a news break of joy, Miss Luper. So therefore, I'll quote Paul, the apostle, anchor man of the gospel, when he says, "But now has Christ risen from the dead and became the first of millions who will come back to life one day." In spite of all the bad news that's going on, this is good news we can use. Somebody needs to latch on to and hold on to this good news to a bad world that says, "But now." But now what? But now what, brother preacher? But now has Christ risen from the dead and became the first fruits of them that slept. In other words, he was a prototype, a sneak preview of the entire resurrection harvest. Your resurrection and my resurrection is guaranteed and underwritten by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. All of those who love his appearing and accept him as Savior and Lord. The Apostle Paul, in dealing with 1 Corinthians chapter 15, that great chapter that addresses death, dying, and the resurrection, Paul, in dramatic fashion, brings to us a marvelous, uplifting, encouraging passage of Scripture that serves as a transitional passage between the events of Palm Sunday, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. In this marvelous, uplifting passage, Paul makes a profound proclamation about a risen Savior that got up from a would-be grave. This is a news break. This is a news flash, a news update. This is newsworthy. This is news of the greatest event to ever take place on the pages of human history, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is the greatest announcement. This is the greatest news break to ever fall from the lips of any being, whether divine, angelic, or human. This news about the crucified, buried, resurrected Lord got up from a would-be grave. His enemies, they thought they had him. They put a thorny crown on his brow, a crossbeam on his back, took him to a hill far away, nailed his hands, spiked his feet, and speared his side, and there he hung, bled, suffered, and died for humanity. They took him down and put him in a barred tomb, put a soldier at the gate and a stone at the door. They thought they had him. But Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, somewhere between the p.m. and the a.m., early Sunday morning, Paul comes with this news update and says, "But now." This is a news break and a news update that ought to command our undivided attention. All of our television networks and radio stations and their affiliates make room for what they call news breaks. If there's some fresh, fast-breaking, shocking news too hot to hold until the regular newscasting hour, they'll interrupt the regular scheduled programming with a hot news flash. This resurrection news is too hot to hold until Easter Sunday morning. This is the kind of news that ought to be broadcast, as the young people say, 24/7, 365. Straight up, uncut, uncensored, and unedited. Clara Luper has interrupted her regular scheduled programming for a gospel news break that's too hot to hold. in case somebody in the KTLV listening audience is unfocused and unaware and out of tune and out of touch with this resurrection good news celebration season. Perhaps the regular scheduled programming of your life have you preoccupied with the cares of the world, your career, your education, your investments, your affairs, your sickness, your situation. Paul the Apostle, the anchor man of the gospel, wants to interrupt and break in on your regular scheduled programming with some good news you can use. He's got news hot off of heaven's press. Good news to a bad world. Listen to what he says. But now has Christ risen from the dead and become the first of them that slept. He is first of the entire harvest of the resurrection. Paul, perhaps in one of the greatest chapters in the New Testament, and perhaps even the entire Bible, one of the greatest chapters regarding death, dying, and the resurrection, Paul, the gospel anchor man, makes a marvelous announcement which seems to me and appears to be what we ought to view and receive as a news break and a news update regarding the death, dying, and resurrection. And my brothers and sisters in Radio Land, I'm interested in any news break or any update or any kind of valid information that has anything to do with this matter of death, dying, and the resurrection. Because every hearse I see, every funeral I attend or eulogize is a grim reminder to me that I'm in that long-anticipated processional that's bound for the dark room that leads to the city of light. Every friend, every relative or loved one that dies is a reminder to me that we're on our way to that undiscovered country to whom those travelers born has returned. So anybody, whether it be the Apostle Paul or just some of you all, anybody that has an update or a news break or any credible spiritual information regarding death, dying, and the resurrection, I'm interested. And so the writer Paul got my attention when he penned this letter concerning death and the resurrection. Paul, in these marvelous, reassuring, uplifting words, says, but now has Christ risen. This is enlightenment. This is insight. This is encouragement. He gives us a news break and a summary and a news flash of what happened on the heels of Palm Sunday. After all of the dancing, Hosanna chanting, palm branch waving of that mighty multitude moving toward the city of David, the Master having set his feet and face steadfastly toward Mount Zion. Shortly thereafter, he encounters a fickle, flippant, hostile crowd that went from Hosanna, Hosanna to crucify him and give us Barabbas. Quickly, let us rewind the camcorder and look back on that grim Good Friday, Crucifixion Friday that led to Resurrection Sunday, Easter Sunday. Jesus left the city of palms on his way triumphantly in a carnival-like atmosphere, moving throughout this Hosanna praise service, folks shouting, dancing, waving palm branches, shouting, Hosanna. But then thereafter comes Good Friday, with all of its betrayal and denial, pain and trauma, public humiliation, a Roman cross. Good Friday with all of that cosmic trauma and crucifixion drama. Good Friday when the sun hit his face and the earthquake shook rocks loose, the ground split, the earth reeled and rocked and staggered like a drunk man, graves burst open, dead folk got up. Good Friday, a day of trauma and a day of transition when God shifted all the sins of creation onto the shoulders of his beloved son. Good Friday, a day of trauma, transition, and testimony when a Roman soldier, a battle-hardened, battle-seasoned centurion looked up and noticed how this sinless holy man died, dying at the hands of his enemies, yet making provision for their salvation. Nobody ever died like Jesus died, and so this soldier looked at the way Jesus died, and it moved him to confess and testify, and he cried, surely this man was the Son of God. This unusual death brought about an unusual confession. This battle-hardened Roman soldier put down his sword and shield and spear, cried and testified, and confessed the man he had crucified was the Son of God. The curtain fell down on that dark, dismal Friday, but put a comma there, not a period, put a comma for the continuation of that drama, because trailing in the wake of all this crucifixion drama, we see and view the celestial vibration of the resurrection. Early Sunday morning, somewhere between the p.m. and a.m., God raised Jesus up from a would-be grave. Having used that sepulcher only 3 days, somebody reported it was a borrowed tomb. And the reason it was a borrowed tomb, the Master knew he wouldn't need it long. 3 days. God wouldn't let love like that stay buried, so he raised it with resurrection power, saving power, restoring power, healing power, all power. Your resurrection and my resurrection is guaranteed and underwritten by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. You may be shackled this morning beneath a heavy load, trapped under the rubbles of sin and the cares of this life, but the power of the resurrection will lift your heavy load. The resurrection where all our hopes are centered. The resurrection where our salvation was made sure. The resurrection where the rich raw red blood of a king was shed for the lowly likes of sinners. The resurrection where we can come with our unrighteousness and receive his righteousness. Where we can come with our imperfection and receive his perfection. Where we can come with our weakness and receive his strength. The resurrection where we can bring our despairs and receive hope. The resurrection where we can bring our fears and doubt and receive blessed assurance. The resurrection where we can walk out of darkness and receive the marvelous light. The Prince of the resurrection, his mission statement to a lost dying world is, I'm he that liveth and was dead, but now I am alive forevermore and have the keys of hell, death, and the grave. What a mighty word for you and what a mighty word for me. Your resurrection and my resurrection guaranteed and underwritten by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who said, he that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And so this morning I quote Paul the apostle, anchor man of the gospel, who gives us a joyous news break, a news flash, a marvelous announcement by saying, but now has Christ risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. Extra, extra, read all about it. News hot off of heaven's press. But now, in spite of, but the fact is, Christ did actually rise from the dead and become the first of millions who will come back to life one day.
Thank you, Reverend Benson. The telephone number is 672-1220. I would like for you to call me immediately and tell me exactly what you heard. The telephone number is 672-1220. What did you hear? I know you are grateful that I've given you the opportunity to hear from one of God's great speakers. They are standing out here now. They are so proud. They have gotten the good news. What did you hear? This is the Clara Luper radio show. Calvin, be sure you catch the telephone because we have someone on the line that wants to tell. The only thing I want to know from you is what did you hear? So many times we hear a lot and we don't hear. What did you hear this morning? This is Clara Luper, and I remember the only thing I want to hear is what you heard.
Mom, I had a call. No, this call is already hung up, and but she called during your message there, and she said he's really fired up. Is he live? She thought it was a tape. But Carmen, I have the number here for you to call after we get off there air here. But Carmen, I'll make sure that he gets the message, and thank you so much for being a part of the Clara Luper radio show.
Well, I want to hear what you heard. Hello?
No telling. Did I mess it up? No telling. The calls are beginning to come in. 672-1220.
Be sure and get in now because I want to hear what you heard. And I try from the bottom of my heart to bring you the best. And you've had the best today. This is the Clara Luper radio show. And we keep switching, but we know we want to hear what you heard. What did you hear this morning? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Sister Luper?
Yes?
It's Sister Baker calling.
Yes.
And I'm calling to let you know what I heard.
Yes.
But now, Christ has risen. And I want to say that Reverend Benson brought us a beautiful message on this coming up to Easter morning.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Baker. Thank you. Calvin, did you hear she heard?
I know. There are thousands out there that were listening, Mom. I just don't know if we'll be able to get all of them. Thank you, Mrs. Baker.
Okay, because I usually listen every Saturday.
Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't that wonderful? You know, really. It is just wonderful that you can hear a message that you can understand. Not a lot of yipping, but some good gospel. I don't know how to thank Reverend Benson.
Extra.
That was good. That was really some good news.
You know.
But it's Easter time, and we've got the message. We have a call Hello?
You're rushing the
Hello?
necks a little bit over there. You got it to the ears coming to.
The calls are coming in. The calls are coming in. People are being excited because they've gotten the message. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
My name is Sheila. I heard, the message I heard was of hope and joy.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. You enjoyed it this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know Reverend Benson?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No.
well, he's a pastor of Macedonia Baptist Church in New York, Oklahoma.
Yes, he's on fire, but I heard, yes, hope and joy because of the redemption of Christ.
Well, thank you so very kindly.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Calvin, isn't that wonderful? The message. Extra, the preacher say this was good news. This is the Clara Luper radio show. And the telephones are ringing out here, and we're going to try to get to you. Hello? Hello?
After the light comes on, give us a minute to get
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Good morning. How are you doing, caller?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
This is Andre Carbon, and I heard surely this man was the Son of God. That's what I heard.
Oh,
And I want to commend Reverend Benson on his excellent speech. That is one speech that we needed to hear on the day before Easter.
well, thank
So
you.
thank you, Mr. Benson.
Thank you so very kindly. Thank you. Well, if you haven't called me, I'm sorry I can't get to everybody because it's Easter. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish each one of you an Easter of remembrance. I've done my best this morning to bring you the news. News from one of God's great ministers. We are so proud that we have someone that continue to give us the word. I'm going to have to let one more person on, and then my time will be just about up. Hello? Hello, do we have, hello? Have I got you? Hello?
We're working on it.
Hello?
We got it now. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Miss Wilson.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That powerful message moved me so much. I would like to make a little donation to you. If you can take me off the air, I would hear you about it.
Okay, and who am I speaking to?
It's anonymous.
Okay, then. Well, call me when I get off the air.
Okay, okay.
672-1220.
Okay, I sure will. That was a beautiful, powerful message, and thank God for it.
Well, thank you. Easter is a time of remembrance for me because I remember, my memory goes back to Hoffman, Oklahoma, where my parents would always take us to Sunday school, to church, and I can hear my daddy now singing the song, He arose from the dead. And I would like to thank God for memories. And certainly I shall always have the memory of this day, the memory of this hour, cemented in my mind. This is Clara Luper, and I know Calvin has some happy birthdays to sing. And I say to sing, I mean that literally. I don't mean it professionally because I've always told you that Calvin cannot sing. And Nancy Davis is having a birthday and others, and they are all waiting to hear not the extra song, but they are anxious to hear the no singing Calvin Luper. Calvin, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mom, for that wonderful introduction, even though it may not have been as accurate as it could have been. But it's always difficult to come on after